Yo, yo, and yo. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Hakeem. And you damn right, because today, it's breaking news. Dun, 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 dun. That's right, read the caption, folks. It's happening. We've got another spring cleaning of releases going down at this very moment as I'm speaking right now. As a matter of fact, I'm about to tweet this little thing right here. So give me 1 second if I'm a little mute here. All right, putting out the info here. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We are gonna talk about it, baby. Let's see here. I know this is all happenstance. Forgive me for kind of being a little unprepared because this is breaking news. I can't really tell you one way or the other how this is all going right now. We're going to get to the shits, though. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to get to it. Okay. Let's see here. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Put it out there. Okay. We're good. What's going on, chat? Let me know what you're thinking right now about what all this craziness means. Because I know I have the only opinion about a lot of these releases. And we're going to get to each and every single release that's been happening this past hour. And if there are any more that are going to come up here, we're going to talk about them as it happens in real time. Because obviously I think it's important. Okay, I think I got everything here. Okay, all right. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody, for this newscast. Yeah. Basically, it's Black Thursday in the WWE today. Yeah. Stuff is happening. I don't know. Well, here's the deal. Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. First things first. As everyone probably knows, it is the 1 year anniversary of the WWE releases as in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic. So a lot of people release, the Matt Cardonas or the Zack Ryders or the Deanna Peralzos or the Rusevs that are now Miro and AEW. A lot of people on that list were released. Now, some did come back. But yeah. Okay, so we're going to go through all this right now. And as you can see on the screen, shit's happening, yo. Shit is happening. This is not a joke. It's not a game right now. So we're going to go through it. As of right now, on April 15th, it says here, Billie Kay, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Tucker, and Wesley Blake, have been released by WWE. The company announced the release on its website on Thursday, April 15th, and if you don't believe them, it'll be on the site in a moment here. The statement is, WWE has come to terms on a release of Billie Kay, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Tucker, and Wesley Blake. As of April 15th, 2021, we wish Billie, Mickie, Chelsea, Tucker, and Wesley the best in all of their future endeavors, the statement reads. And as you can read underneath that highlight, there was an update, literally probably 10 or so minutes before I started this newscast. WWE has confirmed that Kalisto, Bo Dallas, and yes, Samoa Joe have also been released. This is not a game. And I'll go to the website right here, too. You can see the headline right here. Samoa Joe, Billie Kay, Mickie James, and other superstars released. And it says it right here. Point blank period from the official WWE website. WWE has come to terms on the release of Samoa Joe, Billie Kay, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Tucker, Kalisto, Bo Dallas, and Wesley Blake as of today, April 15th, 2021. We wish them the best in all of future endeavors. Oh, shit. Ladies and gentlemen, and as I've been reading the statement here, apparently Peyton Royce has also been released. So basically the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, have both been released today. Wow. Well, that's all I can say is wow. Here's my thing, right? I know this company, you know this company, you know this won't be the end. Now, I have a little bit of a theory, right? I believe, personally, that the release of Andrade a couple of weeks back has opened the floodgates to what you're seeing right now. And don't get me, and by the way, if there are any other real-time releases happening as I'm talking right now, feel free to post it in the chat. We'll talk about it, because we're going to talk about each individual release as it's going on right now. But I want to just address this really quickly. Andrade, when he got released a couple of days ago, I believe with the way he wasn't happy with that company, with the way he wasn't feeling satisfied with that company, the way he just really wanted to go back to wrestling and wasn't being allowed to do what he loved to do. He was losing passion in what he was trying to do. I think the release of Andrade allowed WWE to take a second look at their roster and thought to themselves, well, ultimately, who do we need and who we really don't need, or who are unhappy in the company that we should just let go? And look, listen, I have said multiple times that, well, maybe WWE needs to cut some of these wrestlers from their roster, because it's too bloated. Even if you take away Raw isolated, SmackDown isolated, NXT isolated, NXT UK isolated, there's way too many damn people on the roster to accommodate for everybody. That's just a fact. Simple fact. But at the same time, I do find it a little odd, yet not surprising, that this is all taking place on the anniversary of the COVID releases last year, when the company was rightfully criticized and attacked for releasing talent during a pandemic that was unknown at the time, where people were losing their jobs and that their futures were uncertain. That was the issue. And you have to ask yourself, right? You have to ask yourself, what's the end game here? Because the WWE, they just signed a nearly $1 billion deal with Peacock to stream current and past content from their former WWE network here stateside. Right? So they're making record revenue, and yet it makes it seem like they can't be bothered to keep all of their talent, especially if they're trying to play keep away from other promotions. Because let's be quite clear. Let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why there are so many talent hoarding from this company, and make no mistake about it, this is hoarding. This is playing keep away. The reason why this company does that is to prevent a wrestler that could have potential to go elsewhere, wrestling or even non-wrestling. to go out there and make a name for themselves, to make a star for themselves, to make a brand, if you will, for themselves. Clear example. Do you know who was released last year during the whole COVID thing? On the same day, on the anniversary, a year ago, you know who was released from WWE? Ty Conti. The former Tainara Conti from NXT. Who was green as grass, couldn't really work her way around the ring, didn't really have any presence within that NXT roster, wasn't that good in her matches, barely saw her on television, let alone NXT, and then they released her. Look at where we are today. Look at where we are a year later for a Ty Conti. She's about to challenge for the AEW Women's Championship on Dynamite this upcoming Wednesday against the champion Hikaru Shida, which is potentially her biggest match to date. I'll give you another example. Deanna Peralzo, another NXT talent who would do some odd jobs here and there on the main roster for the likes of Nia Jax. Deanna talks about all the fact that she had all these plans and angles and stories for her, and they went nowhere. She was basically floundering on NXT, and then they released her last year. And now look at where we are this year. Look at where we are a year later for Deanna Peralzo. Arguably the best knockout in Impact Wrestling right now. She's the current two-time Knockouts champion. She has been having match after match after match with those that come at her. The day her contract comes up with Impact, she's going to get a lot of offers. So, I would like to tell people, look, being released from the WWE doesn't mean your career is over. That mantra, that narrative doesn't work anymore in 2021. It should have never worked the way that did. But because the WWE is so great at telling people something multiple times until people start to believe it, that is what was happening. It's either WWE or bust. And for some wrestlers, it's a dream to be a part of that company. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what did they get out of it? Most don't get a lot out of it. Most aren't in an ideal position for themselves. So they have to go elsewhere to see that potential that the WWE refused or just didn't see. Now we're going to go over each name that's been released so far. And who knows who the hell else will be released as I go through them. Because these are just the main roster cuts. Who knows if we've got NXT cuts coming soon, or NXT UK cuts coming soon, or Performance Center cuts coming soon. Who knows? But this is a spring cleaning, which the WWE is known for. It's not lost on me at all that now that Johnny H, John Laurinaitis, is back with the WWE, basically back on his former position as head of talent relations, it does not lose me whatsoever that we're starting to hear the rumblings of future endeavors, that rosters are getting cleaned out again. It don't surprise me not one bit. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about each name that we have so far here. Now, so I scroll a little up here. There we go. Let's talk about it. First name on the screen, Billie Kay. Now, if we all watched WrestleMania last week, Billie Kay really wasn't good. Quite frankly, she really hasn't been that good in the ring. She's one of the worst in the ring. Now, you have to ask yourself, despite that, she's always found a way to get herself over with whatever she was given, whether it was with the Iconics or with this gimmick of her trying to promote herself. She always found a way. Now, where would I see a Billie Kay go? Well, here's the deal. I could see a Billie Kay go maybe an Impact, maybe an ROH. You have to recall ROH, they are beginning to have their little, women's tournament this summer. And Impact, they need all the talent that they can get right now. So if Billie Kay is charismatic enough and can actually follow suit in performing her in-ring work, it could work. But who knows? Maybe Billie Kay goes back down to the Indies. Who knows? Then you have Mickie James, a veteran, an over 2-decade veteran in wrestling, has been through a lot of promotions. Ring of Honor, Shimmer, TNA, WWE. She's been through a lot of eras, and she is a legit Hall of Famer. I tweeted it moments ago as the releases were happening, but I did say, if I'm AEW, I'm calling Mickie James the fuck up right now. Because I think Mickie James is another veteran that could really cultivate that growing women's division in AEW. Because look at what you have here. You have the active, roster. You have the babyfaces right now. Champion Hikaru Shida. You've got Ty Conti. You've got Chris Statlander. You've got Red Velvet. You've got Rhea Mizunami. You got Riho. You got Thunder Rosa, who's not even contracted really to AEW, but is on loan from the NWA. And then on the heel side, you got Britt Baker. You got Jade Cargill. You got Nyla Rose. But you don't really got much of a strong heel roster like you would think. I think someone like Mickie James comes in as a veteran/coach to really cultivate that entire division. And she can play both roles, babyface or heel, and do it very well. I think even really Mickie James is somebody that can really cultivate themselves as a grizzled veteran. I think she's better than AEW, but then she comes here to AEW to cement her legacy. I think that's a good storyline for Mickie James. And I will say this, I'm a little surprised that Mickie James got released. I know I shouldn't be because, look, Mickie James, you would think, is a Hall of Famer, right? But then again, Big Show left this year. Christian left this year. Jericho began the company with AEW. Sting. It's there's no longer a real guarantee that longevity within the company means they're going to be there forever. And maybe it never was. But you would think someone like Mickie James would eventually go into the Hall of Fame if she's not being used to wrestle frequently or weekly. But there you go. Now, I think AEW should get a Mickie James, quite frankly, because she has a lot to offer still that a lot of women and just people, period, could really learn from. But I would also not be surprised if she heads to the NWA too. Her husband is the NWA World Champion. My thing about that is, however, is that the NWA relaunch hasn't really been working, if you will. The NWA relaunch hasn't really materialized as strong as one would think. At the end of the day, yes, Nick Aldis is the champion. He's been a long-reign champion for years now. But now, you're having NWA be a part of a paywall behind the Fight TV app and company. And yet, it doesn't feel like anyone's watching. It doesn't feel like anybody is there. And, look, I don't want any company to die, but when you see the writing on the wall, the writing's on the wall. So I don't know if Mickie James going to NWA just because for her husband would be the right business move. I don't think she would go back to Impact. I don't think she would go to ROH or MLW. So I think AEW would be her option. And I think it's something that AEW should look into. You've already got Serena Deeb, who's injured at the moment, but she's been a great veteran for that company. The bridge, if you will. I think Mickie James could be another bridge to help that division really get good, if you will. Then you got Chelsea Green. A little bit of a weird one, actually. Chelsea Green having a little bit of a start-stop relationship with the company. You know, working her way to NXT, and then you would think when she debuted for Raw and SmackDown, she would get pushed. Then she didn't get pushed, went back to NXT, then returned back to SmackDown and Raw, and then they don't get used, and then they don't use her, and then she gets injured, and then you don't hear from her again, and now she's released. Now, I've made it clear if you follow me on Twitter, I am not a Chelsea Green fan, okay? I don't find it to be all that great as people thought. You go back to my tweets about a good 2 or 3 years ago, I thought the likes of Chelsea Green and, yes, Britt Baker were mid as fuck. But Britt Baker recently has improved greatly. I can't even call her mid Baker anymore. She's not like the greatest worker in AEW's women's division. Let me be very clear. But she's the one that seems to have the most star potential. And she was the first woman signed to that company. Now, granted, I always sort of placed Britt Baker above Chelsea Green, even though I thought they were both not really special in any regard. But Chelsea Green's greatest work was when she was playing Laurel Van Ness on Impact. As the, crazy, smitten woman that was left in the altar during that whole feud with her and Allie, who was now the Bunny, in AEW. So look, I'm not one to say that she'll go back there. I know there might be some hard feelings with the way she left Impact. But let it be known, her best work was when she was Laurel Van Ness. And right now, I think Impact, who, they're not against division, they have strong workers like a Deanna or a Jordan Grace, but they don't have a deep enough roster to make it a true division to really look after. I think Chelsea going back to Laurel Van Ness for Impact would be something that she should probably consider, since to me it was her best work. And I think it would be something that they could use right about now. It also helps that her boy, Zack Ryder, is with the company there as well. So maybe Chelsea Green hops over there and maybe tries to accomplish something, if you will, I guess is the word you would want to use. Tucker. Man, poor Tucky, man. Heavy Machinery was a team that I knew the main roster wouldn't get. They were fine as an NXT act. They were fine as a niche act for a couple of fans. But I knew as soon as they got up to the main roster, people would look at them as Jesse and Festus. And that's the reality. And I knew they were going to find a way to screw up the team. We all knew it. It's not just me. It's not like I'm being Hakeem Adamas and playing around here. We all knew that Tucker and Otis were not long as a team when they were called up. And then, once she knew that was to be the case, they split the team and they turned Tucker heel for no reason. There was no hint that Tucker was turning on Otis. There was no hint that Tucker wanted to get away from Otis. They just didn't. Because they had no plans for Twitter. Why did I say Twitter? They had no plans for Tucker. Wow. That came out of nowhere. So that's what happened. And look, Tucker, we already know what it is with Tucker. And it sucks because him turning heel, you knew. Tucker turning heel, you knew that they did not have anything for Tucker, and that was the case. And fuck it, they already turned, and then screw it, they turned Otis heel anyways. They turned Tucker heel against Otis. They didn't even properly get the feud started. They didn't even properly finish the feud. And then Tucker goes away, goes to Raw, doesn't do anything, and then Otis turns anyways. What? What? Huh? Even on the basis of the ridiculousness of this company, that doesn't make sense. It can't make sense. So, for Tucker, I don't know where he goes. Maybe he goes to Impact. Maybe he goes to ROH. I could even see him go to MLW. Because MLW seems like they're getting stuff done as of late. Who knows? But what I do know is that Tucker, as someone that does have a, a collegiate background, he might have something. I want to switch on a tweet right now here. And granted, I don't fuck with this dude. I think he's a bit of a cornball. Quite frankly, I think he's a bit of a geek. But Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com basically confirmed what I just said a few moments ago on this breaking news episode here. Let me go ahead and show you right now here. There you go. Sean Ross Sapp confirming, I'm told John Laurinaitis has been making the calls to talent and citing budget cuts as the reason for the WWE releases. There you go. These releases smell of Johnny Ace's work. How do people not understand how this company works? How do people not understand? You know what? Oh man, I actually do want to play it, but I don't want to get my stream taken down and my channel taken down, so I'm not going to do it. But boy, oh boy, the CM Punk's pipe bomb does that promo, as much as it's been done to death by other wrestlers and companies, boy, does that pipe bomb continue to ring true every single year, man. It doesn't surprise me whatsoever. It just does not surprise me. But back to what I was talking about here. Who else was released? Wesley Blake, the forgotten son and the forgotten member of that trio with Bliss and Murphy. I really don't have an opinion on him. I've never been really a guy that saw Wesley Blake as anything special. I always thought Murphy was the guy that would really get the break, and relative to between the two that he did. I don't know with Blake. I mean, maybe a TNA run, maybe a MLW run. I don't know. Maybe he goes to Japan even. But I really don't have an opinion. It just kind of seems like he was a guy that they had nothing to do with. They had nothing for him, and they just said, screw it, let's add him to the list. So, yeah. Then we get to the updated ones here. Kalisto, the former Samurai del Sol. If I'm Kalisto, I'm heading to New Japan ASAP. Kalisto, a guy that, and this kind of backs up my whole theory about Andrade being the reason why this is all happening today. Andrade, during a shoot interview with Hugo Savinovich on, I believe, Lucha Libre Online, he mentioned the fact that there are a lot of great Mexican wrestlers, a lot of great luchadors that aren't being showcased for whatever reason. And that he was a guy that wasn't going to allow himself to play as a sitting duck and was very vocal about his displeasure within the company. That a lot of people in the roster don't have enough backbone to stand up for themselves. They're basically pussy. And Andrade's completely correct. They're pussy. A lot of these superstars you mark for. Hell, a lot of these superstars in that company that I'm a fan of. I love their work. But they're pussy. I don't hate them because I don't know them. It's not like I'm really attacking them because, like I stated, some of them I'm fans of because I love their work. I love what they do, which is why I get irritated when I know what they can do and they're not allowed to do it. And yet, instead of taking the risk of applying their craft elsewhere to where they can still make a good amount of money anyways to live well, they just resign. And then they bitch and just start doing passive-aggressive tweets and posts. And I'm supposed to care. And I don't. That's how shit like Dolph Ziggler happens. A guy that said, oh, I'm sick of this company. I hate this. I hate that. And then when it comes time to really take your ball and go with it, you resign. It's like, shut the fuck up. Anyways. But Kalisto. I'm glad Kalisto's finally free. Because I remember, I believe it was last year, if I recall. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was last year. Kalisto was trying to leave anyways. I think Kalisto was the one out of the Lucha House Party group that requested his release. And didn't. I don't think he got it. Or he rescinded it. Or whatever. I don't know really what it was. But I know he didn't get it. So they just released him. You have to ask yourself, why was that the case? Nonetheless, I know the pandemic is still kind of iffy with worldwide travel, but if I'm Kalisto, I know a AAA run could be there for you, but man, I like to see you back in New Japan. I like to see New Japan and turn up that junior heavyweight division right now. I'd love to see it. Battles with Desperado and Hiromu and Show. I'd love to see it, personally. And then we've got Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas, a guy who I remember back in the FCW days when I used to really love watching FCW because I thought the actual developmental brand really did its purpose way better than modern NXT these days. By a long shot. But, yeah, Bo Dallas, a guy that was one of the guys that was FCW champion, NXT champion in the early years. They brought him up as a guy that wanted you to believe, and then the social outcast, part of Mrs. Entourage, and then nothing really. There were reports as of late that Bo Dallas was actually focusing on a real estate firm, if you will. So his time in the company was numbered anyways. But, Bo Dallas is somebody that everyone thought as, Bo Rotunda, that he might actually be a star for the company in the future, and it never happened. Because I believe that was during the time that WWE started their whole independent spree of signing people. Just to do it. Just to keep people away from signing the big names all around the world. So, I know people thought Bo Dallas might even be part of this whole bullshit Bray Wyatt Fiend storyline. But he's not, and it didn't work. So, Bo Dallas, it seems like he's happy I mean, if you're happy, you're getting paid to just be at catering, and you get to work on a passion like real estate, and your girls live Morgan. I mean, I guess you can't be too miserable. So maybe Bo Dallas is just basically done with wrestling. I don't really see him wrestling anywhere else anytime soon. Maybe he's just really done with wrestling. Peyton Royce, who I was told was released on my chat as I was breaking the news here, but Peyton Royce, yeah. Remember all of you guys a few weeks ago were trying to bullshit and were playing cap with their promo on Raw Talk? Remember all that? I'm afraid of my potential. They just don't treat me the way I need to be treated. I can give Oscar a run for her money. Remember all that? What did it ultimately amount to? Nothing. It didn't amount to shit. That's kind of why I'm tired of. It's kind of why I'm tired of all this talk about work shoot promos and how you deserve this, you deserve that. Pick another narrative. I personally liked CM Punk's pipe bomb promo, but I hate it for the reason that everybody, whether it's from the independents to the major promotions, have taken that structure, that style of promo, and have beaten it to death. Beaten it to death. Whether it's WWE, whether it's AEW, whether it's Impact Wrestling, whether it's everywhere else. It doesn't matter. I'm sick of work shoot promos. It's fine to do that style of promo once in a while for a particular talent or two, but when it seems like almost half your roster's doing it, it makes your company look like it's shit. It makes it feel like they're not that talented to speak people into the building, if you will, to use an old school wrestling phrase. I don't know. But with Peyton, I believe there's money. Look, put it this way. Angelina Love and Velvet Sky are the beautiful people of TNA fame. They still do meet and greets as the beautiful people. They still go together, do their streams on the Russo channel and that nobody watches. They still do things together within the wrestling spectrum as the beautiful people. I would not be surprised if Billy and Peyton, now that they've been released today from the WWE, they start doing their own meet and greets and start doing their own special appearances as the former Iconics. I don't know if you can really call them the Iconics outside of the company now, but don't be surprised if Billy and Peyton do stuff together as the former Iconics in like wrestling appearances and meet and greets and photo picture taking and all that stuff. As for Peyton, look, I'm not even really a fan of Peyton either. I think Peyton was the better of the two in terms of in-ring ability. I think Billy Kay was the better talker. Peyton was the better in-ring talent. That's not really saying much because I really was not a fan of the Iconics. I'm going to be honest with you, like, the Iconics really didn't do anything for me. I get why people thought they were, great or something. I just didn't see it. But I did think Peyton was the better in-ring worker of the two. So maybe, especially with her husband Sean Spears in AEW, maybe there's a spot for her there. I personally wouldn't. If I'm Tony Khan, I think out of all these people on this list, I think, in terms of the women, I think Mickie James is the priority. And even then, I don't think you need a Mickie James, although it just would be an ideal way to bring her. You don't need a Mickie James, but I think bringing her in would be very beneficial for the women. I do think that. And then we get to Samoa Joe. With Samoa Joe, it's weird because I think, in my personal opinion, that Samoa Joe was completely misused within the company. Hear me out here a little bit. Hear me out a little bit. I know Joe was a former NXT champion. And this is when I was still even giving NXT a little bit of a benefit of doubt, even though I was already basically done watching it at that point. But do you really put Joe as a top 5 NXT champion? You really don't. Don't lie to yourself. You really don't. He goes to the main roster. Alright? Goes to the main roster. Goes after Seth Rollins. But he's used as a pawn to the Triple H Seth Rollins build to WrestleMania 33, I believe. Yeah, Joe gets a pity United States title run here. But again, when's the last time we've had any effective mid-card champions that weren't The Miz or Daniel Bryan? We really haven't had one. So, like, mid-card titles for people you have no interest in pushing doesn't mean shit to me. Because all you're doing is telling me that they have their ceiling and you have no plans to push them. That's why I'm not buying the Cesaro bullshit either. I'm happy that Cesaro won at WrestleMania. I'm happy he finally got his moment again at WrestleMania. But I'm not of this notion that, oh, Cesaro is going to get this push. It doesn't matter. The ship has sailed to really effectively push Cesaro. You had multiple, and I mean multiple chances of making Cesaro a true superstar for your company. And you passed every single time. I have no reason to believe this will be any different. And even if you do give Cesaro the WWE Championship or Universal title at some point, who cares? I mean, I'll care for him winning a world title there, sure, for the moment. But you know that it won't mean nearly as much as it could have if they really hit the mark. But back to Joe. Joe gets hurt multiple times even. And then they relegate him to commentary. And to be fair, Joe was very good at commentary. I thought he really added a lot of realism from the clips that I heard of Joe. He sounded very invested in the things he was trying to convey. He felt like he added a bit of realism, being a former athlete of his own ilk. He knows how a fighter can wrestle in the ring. Joe is one of the better commentators in that company, which isn't saying a whole lot anyways, but it needs to be said anyways. But I did say, and you can go back to the live reactions that we did for WrestleMania Night 1 and 2. That's on this channel, by the way. If you have not seen the Night 1 and Night 2 live reaction streams for WrestleMania this past weekend with me and a couple of guests, go ahead and check it out. It's very entertaining, by the way. But I did say it on both nights. I did say that it seems like WWE is regulating Samoa Joe into a commentator, and that his days in the ring are basically over for that company with him. They're basically making him the new form. They're basically making him a new era Taz as commentator. That's basically what they were trying to do with Joe. I would not be surprised with this release here with Joe that Joe was the one that requested to be released. I would not be surprised if Joe was the one who asked to be released here instead of WWE releasing him. I would not be surprised. I bet you that they told Joe, look, we want to transition you into being a commentator for us because you're really good at it. And Joe feels like he still has enough in the tank to go, if you will. And they just didn't agree to it, and they let him go. I think that's what happened. I think Joe feels he still has an in-ring career in him, and the WWE clearly just disagreed for whatever reason. So Joe leaving, look, I know all the answers that are going to come from this Joe release here. And I probably don't even disagree with you about those answers. I will say this. There are a lot of options. I know the obvious one could be AEW. And I wouldn't necessarily hate that. Although I will say this. Although there are more AEW originals, quote unquote, than WWE former talent in that company, I think AEW would be best to not try to bring more WWE talent at this time. And I know this is me saying this, even though I just said that they should get Mickie James too. That's a little bit different because because the women's division is still growing. So bringing in a Mickie James could really fast track that growth for that division. With Joe, look, I'm not saying Joe doesn't have it anymore, but this isn't 2003 Joe from Ring of Honor. This isn't even 2005-06 Joe from TNA. Hell, this ain't even 2015 Joe from NXT. He's older and bigger and hasn't wrestled in a while. And he's injury prone too now. Is that really a risk worth taking if you're AEW? You just brought in Christian, who I'm fine with bringing, by the way. You bring in Samoa Joe, yeah, you get Joe. For the name value, you get Joe. For him still bringing in something to a company like AEW. But, who's to say that doesn't take another spot? What if that takes a spot from Will Hobbs? A Ricky Starks? A Sammy Guevara? A Darby Allin? A Jungle Boy? If bringing in Samoa Joe means that I don't get to see one of those names frequently, as much as I could if Joe wasn't there, I wouldn't bring Joe. I don't think Joe, at this time, is needed for AEW. If he does go to AEW, cool. It is what it is, but fine. I wouldn't necessarily hate it. But I also would understand Tony Khan in AEW if he didn't come in at this time. Hey, there's always Impact, though. And he is an Impact or TNA original, quote-unquote. Not really, but he's a part of that golden era of TNA. So I'll count him in. If Impact is serious about amending ties and reconciliation, which they have, and they are, I think reconciliation with Joe would not be the worst thing to do. I think bringing someone in like Joe could really boost and give that company a strong buzz after the easy layups that Impact's been given lately and they've completely fumbled. I know a lot of people blame the AEW and New Japan partnership of Impact, but look, we're not talking about Impact the way we're talking about Impact if those partnerships don't happen. And before that, the releases last year that helped Slammiversary become one of their biggest pay-per-view buys in a long while. We don't talk about Impact in that regard if that stuff doesn't happen. Samoa Joe, who's a legit main eventer, a former world champion in that company, would be the buzz that that company would need to put over certain people and get himself back into a certain shape, if you will. There's Ring of Honor, same thing. He has a lot of history. The battles of Bryan Danielson and CM Punk and Morishima and James Gibson, all those dudes. Nigel McGuinness. So Joe going back there, back to his roots, to boost that company's image, isn't the worst thing in the world. New Japan. What if
expectation and pressure in my brain that I...
Shut up. That was weird. But Joe, you know, what if he goes to New Japan? What if Joe says, screw it, I want to go to New Japan? What if Joe says, listen, Joe says, screw it, I want to go to New Japan, and I want to prove to people that I still have it. I know people are saying, whoa, Hakeem, New Japan doesn't even have the stamina to even compete with those dudes. Can he even do a G1 in his current state? I don't have that answer, but I bet you Joe's willing to prove it. The battles that he can have with Ishii and Ibushi and Naito and Shingo, especially Okada and Ospreay, Joe might want to do that. I just don't think Joe thinks his career is over and he wants to be relegated as a commentator. It's the whole Macho Man doctrine. Remember when Vince was trying to push Macho Man more as an announcer during the mid-90s? That led to Savage leaving WWF for WCW. I think it's the same here for the WWE. Going to wherever he's going to go to. So, at the moment, those are the releases. Now, people I don't know. People are going to say that these releases are justifiable. Fucking drones, man. I tell you what, drones, if you're going to be a drone and defend bullshit like this, at least get paid to do it. I shit on and hate on the likes of Ryan Satin and Sam Roberts and Peter Rosenberg for good reason, and I enjoy every bit of it, but at least they're getting paid to do it. They're getting paid to shill for a fed that can do no wrong, apparently, in their eyes. But there are idiots. There are drones out here on Twitter, Reddit, wherever on the internet, doing this defense mechanism for free! They are defending the Fed for free on the internet. For anything. I understand if WWE does something good at once in a while, or gets credit for something that they did. I get all that. And I will give them their credit. But this company is who they are in 2021. And the fact that people still find ways to defend this company after everything they've been through, I'm not surprised. Don't get me wrong. I am not surprised that people will defend this company to death. And will completely shit on, disregard, insult, and undermine any other company that isn't WWE. Because it's easier to do that. It's more comfortable to do that. Oh, we're going to release more talent on the anniversary of the COVID releases last year. Screw it. We have record revenue now. We're making billion-dollar deals. It doesn't matter. We can do whatever we want. And that's true. They can do whatever they want. That is absolutely true. That's why they can get away with releasing almost over 25 people last year. And we can be mad about it, but they're still going to go about their business. Was it disgusting? Of course. Was it distasteful? Of course it was. Was it scummy? Yes. You're right on all those cases. But they did it anyway and kept going. Same company that inked a deal with Saudi Arabia, despite the king, the crown of that country being involved with a lot of shady shit. One even involving a journalist. Yet they still, before the pandemic, flew to Saudi Arabia to do shows for the royal family, to get blood money. They don't give a shit. This company does not give a fuck. How many newscasts do I have to keep repeating the obvious until people understand this company does not give a damn what you think? Does not give a damn what I think. That's the reality. This company will do whatever they want. Why? Because they have money to blow. They have money to spend. You ain't seen Velveteen Dream for 2 months with his allegations, allegedly. And this man still has a job in WWE. But yet look at the people they've released last year now tonight. I got people out here saying that certain AEW talent, certain New Japan talent, certain Impact talent, certain Stardom talent should go to the Fed. Why? The only way you can say that, the only way you can justify that is because you want the WWE to own everything. You want them to monopolize everything. If that's the case, say that then. Stop being a coward and pretending that you're a wrestling fan. You're not. You're a fan for the WWE. Period. I'm sick of people out here that will defend this company for free and berate others that enjoy other companies because they don't fuck with the WWE mantra. They don't like the monopolization that WWE is trying to commit to professional wrestling. They don't like the joy that this company takes away from fans while they insult their intelligence every single week. But I'm wrong. I'm wrong because I enjoy a New Japan or an AEW or a Noah more than the WWE. I got dumbass idiots like OTR Essential. Idiots like Girl on Camera or Girl on Cinema, whoever the fuck she is. I got grifters like Disco Inferno and Russo and Cornette that all they do is make these dishonest ass takes because it gives them attention and money. And people fall for it. Balding ass 40-year-olds coming to the defense of these grifters that take money from them to sell them a gimmick because they don't know better. Because they want to be protected, because they don't want their bubble to be bursted by people like me. People like me that ain't got no loyalty to no company. I can enjoy AEW more so than WWE, yet still criticize AEW for shit that they do that I find ridiculous. That's me. I'm me. I'm Hakeem. Fact of the matter is, the WWE does not give a shit about their fan base. They give enough of a shit to where you put their debit or credit card on any product that they sell you. And then they laugh at you while you enjoy their mediocrity. And yet you got the nerve to come at me when I give you solutions, when I stick by my convictions. I'm wrong. And that's why wrestling Twitter ain't shit. That's why the square circle on Reddit ain't shit. Because y'all have no backbone. Just like the roster that you fanboy for or fangirl for. People got no backbone. You got no spine. You got no to talk to me where I stand by my convictions. Blow me. Wrestling fans always want to talk about the fact that this is ridiculous, this is crazy. But when you tell them to stop spending their money on companies that insult you and treat you like shit, you're wrong. You're just hating. This company released more than 30 people last year during the pandemic that was unknown to everybody at the time. Had to run away to some of their connections to be considered essential business. But yet their talent can't be considered essential workers or workers in general. They're independent contractors. That's ridiculous to me. And this is why people can't touch me that are drones or contrarians or people that argue in bad faith. You know why? You want me to give you the secret? Why? Here's a secret. Kind of lean your ear closely here as I reveal the shocking truth on the newscast. You know why I can do this? Because I used to be like y'all. Read it and weep. I used to be a quote-unquote drone like y'all in the sense that I would always give this company the benefit of the doubt. I would always give this company bail, even when I thought that I disagreed with what their decision was. I would even tell people they were overreacting, and that this company has done a lot of good in the past to where they don't deserve to be completely crucified on the internet. And even then I had my criticisms about the company, but I would find a way to say, you know what, they can't be all that bad. They actually do care about us. If we stick with it, they'll reward us. I used to be that dumb motherfucker. And guess what? I woke up. After the way I saw Punk was treated, after I saw the way they didn't follow up on the Daniel Bryan yes movement, after I saw how the Shield got broken up when it wasn't ready to be broken up, when I saw it was a Triple H and Stephanie show like it was 2000, when I saw other cracks forming on the Shield, I bailed. I finally realized if this company can't respect me for all the time, investment, and emotion that I've given to them for years past, come hell or high water, if I can't be respected enough as a paying customer, let alone a viewer, a loyal viewer, then why am I still here? So guess what I stopped doing? I stopped watching full Raws. I stopped watching full SmackDowns. I stopped watching NXT. I stopped watching full pay-per-views. I stopped giving them my television time. I stopped paying for the network. I stopped giving them merchandise money. Because I stand on my convictions. But a lot of you just talk. But you don't really walk that business. Selena Vega, months ago, got released because she didn't want to adhere to the third-party bullshit policy from the WWE. She felt that it was her channel on Twitch. She should be the one making the most money. And WWE want to swoop in and take channels like her and other wrestlers that had channels on Twitch and YouTube and get the majority, a percentage, because they're our property. So Selena said, fuck you, I'm leaving. And she left. And people were in uproar. How can the WWE let this happen? The WWE are wrong for doing this to Selena Vega. And then a week later, no one gave a shit. They pretended like Selena Vega doesn't exist. Some even started to turn on Selena. Andrade, a few weeks ago, not even months this time, weeks ago, requested for his release because he was starting to not love wrestling, the passion that he once had for it. Did a shoot interview and told you what he was feeling and how the company operates in a lot of ways. Their own doctor gave Andrade's girl Charlotte Flair a fake pregnancy positive test. Had to go to a second doctor to confirm that wasn't the case, but she had COVID, so apparently the doctor didn't even detect that. Yet Andrade's wrong. Andrade's quote-unquote talking shit for just exposing the inevitable, the obvious towards those that pay attention. Y'all are bums. I'm trying. You know what? I'm not even trying anymore. At this point, I used to be one of those people. I used to be one of those people that would give the benefit of the doubt to a lot of things. This company don't deserve it anymore. It hasn't deserved it from me for years. It doesn't deserve your benefit of the doubt anymore either. Let's keep it a buck, folks. You people only watch this company for some great matches and to follow your favorites. That's it. There's nothing this company does that you can tell me you like. Because somebody's got to explain to me this. How much does the WWE have to do, in your opinion, before you all finally get the message? How many actions, how many things have to be done within this company for you people to get it? That this company is without hope. This company doesn't give a damn about what you think. This company is here to insult your intelligence and patronize you for even being a wrestling fan. What do they got to do left to really make you see that? Look at what Leo Rush posted here on this Twitter. Y'all are literally releasing stars. Shit is nuts. Shit is nuts. But I do got to disagree with Leo Rush on one thing. Releasing stars. WWE ain't made a fucking star in a decade, my guy. Leo is right. There are people that this company has released and not have used, period. That are stars if you treat them and mold them as such. How Samoa Joe wasn't WWE World Champion in his tenure in WWE, I will never, ever rationalize that. How Ricochet, a man that was considered to be the greatest next superstar in this business, even above a Will Ospreay, how he's now in WWE not doing jack shit while Will Ospreay rules the world right now, is nuts to me. How they had arguably the greatest babyface they could have really made into a superstar in Kairi Hojo and didn't even make the attempt to make her a household name in that company. This company can't get right anymore, folks. It's time to come to grips with reality, folks. Because it's not going to get any better. I can shit on this company as much as I would like to. And trust me, I do. I do. But you are mistaken if you think that this company will ever see the peak of another boom period in this company. There is no boom period coming for WWE. I love New Japan and AEW, but there ain't no boom period coming for this business in general. It's over. It's over. Wrestling had its time. It's been long past. Check this tweet out I made. Huh? March 26, 2021, 7:55 p.m. WrestleMania 30 was the series finale of WWE. Who gonna argue with me on that? Who's going to argue with me? Taker streak is over. The Cena era is fading, even though he won against Bray Wyatt. Daniel Bryan gets his moment, his WrestleMania moment. The greatest stable in the Ruthless Aggression Era Evolution, Orton, Batista, Triple H, get their one last moment at WrestleMania. Lesnar becomes a part-time fixture. WrestleMania 30 was the end. And everything that's followed ever since has just been a shitty sequel. It's over. To the drones that may be listening to this newscast, for those that are going to try to defend this on Twitter and Reddit towards me, it's over. That doesn't mean this company's dying. Let me be clear. That does not mean this company's going to die like WCW anytime soon. We all know that ain't happening. But in terms of expecting greatness again from this company, it's over. The Peacock deal should be telling you right now that it's over. Peacock erasing past content, justified or not, they are doing that. Essentially shut down the WWE network here in the stateside. And I wouldn't be surprised if worldwide the network gets shut down by the end of this year. Vince McMahon getting older and older. Did you see him on night one at WrestleMania? Man's on his last legs. Triple H. Already, there's buyer's remorse with Triple H. Because he ain't going to be leading the show. That's Stephanie leading it. Stephanie's going to be leading the show. Not even Triple H. Gets demoted twice. Demoted twice. To the point where they had to bring back John Laurinaitis because Triple H sucked at his job. Or wasn't effective enough at his job. And yet people are clamoring for Triple H to take over when Vince is gone. You're going to miss Vince when they take over. You will miss Vince when Triple H and Stephanie step up here. Because I don't think they got it. Been saying that for 6, 7, 8 years on the newscast. Check my resume, bruh. They don't got that business acumen Vince does. Vince may be out of touch and senile, and you bet your sweet ass that he is. But he was willing to humble himself for business. You think Steph and Triple H are going to do that? Want to run down that authority storyline again? They can't help themselves. They're egocentrists. They're tyrannical. They're egomaniacal people that will put themselves over before what's best for business, ironically enough. Samoa Joe out here standing in the rain for night one at WrestleMania. 5 days later, he gets released. Peyton Royce does that average-ass promo that you guys were capping for. But at least seemingly felt like she was really putting some effort to it. She gets released. You ain't done shit with an easy pick like Samurai Del Sol, despite giving him teases here and there, and you release him. Got a Hall of Famer in your wings and Mickie James, and you release her. Hey, yo, this company ain't shit. This company really ain't shit, bro. The only reason why they're still number one is because of past accolades. And because of the past image that they still have. They ain't shit now. This ain't over. There'll be more releases. Maybe not tonight, and maybe not even tomorrow. But they're coming. And they'll keep signing more record-making money deals. Because they know that once Vince is gone, the McMahon era goes with him. I am more than confident now. Shit, I thought it'd be Disney doing it. So I was a little bit off. But you mark my words. Next decade or so, the WWE won't be a McMahon-led company. It will be bought out by a bigger company. Take your pick. Warner Media, Disney, Universal. Take your pick. But it's coming. It's inevitable. It can't be stopped. That's why Vince is making these deals now. So that this company can be solvent even long after he's gone. That's what's happening. I hate to be a little grim about that situation, but that's what's happening. Vince knows it's over for him. So now he's got to be able to make these deals for this company before he leaves. So I went on a little bit of a long rant there, but you know, it's like this company can't get right. Like, you know, WrestleMania was a good show. Not a great one, not one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. But overall, WrestleMania 37 was a good show that did what it needed to do. But even I knew in the back of my mind as I was saying that ultimately means nothing. Because we'll be right back to where all this is bullshit. It seems cool. You know? Bianca and Rhea are the new champions. Lashley retained. Roman retained. Bad Bunny impressed. That seemed all well and good in the moment. Then you come back to reality. Raw sucks. NXT's mediocre. SmackDown's quote-unquote alright. And I'm not even watching these shows. I'm just keeping tabs from what I see through clips, highlights, and reviews. They're telling me it's shit. And you people expect me to watch this company for 7 to 8 hours a week? Are you out of your fucking mind? I truly think it is unhealthy to watch Raw for 3 hours in the state it's in every week, every Monday. I think that's a bad health decision. So look, it is what it is. If you still enjoy the WWE, whatever, fine, that's your decision. But understand the company you're watching for. Understand that. Understand this company no longer cares to entertain you. Understand this company no longer wants to be good. And as I am speaking here, the ratings have come for AEW. 1.2 million total viewers. 0.44 in the 18 to 49 demo. Let me hear it, drones! Let me hear it. They can't reach 1 million, right? They can't get 1 million. Let me hear the cope now. Let me hear the bullshit defense mechanism. Let me hear how much you're going to move the goalposts now that they can't get 2 million. You stupid sons of bitches. Let me hear it. The Wednesday Night Wars are over. And AEW just got 1.2 million viewers. What's going on? It's Shit's in my end right now. You dishonest drones? Too many factions. Not enough women wrestling. Anthony Ogogo's punch should have been a finish. You people just hate this company. You know what? Let me pull this up right the hell now. Let me pull this up right now. Pull this up right now. Let's see here. Yeah, let me pull this up right now. This is what I tweeted this morning. I'm going to say verbatim. I wish some of y'all weren't so pussy and just admitted that any wrestling company that isn't WWE, you don't want them to succeed. And them going out of business will be more convenient for you. I'd rather you be honest than pretending to be a wrestling fan. You're not. I stand by that. And I'll die on that hill. A lot of y'all ain't wrestling fans. Y'all are just company stands. Whether it's for WWE, AEW, Impact, New Japan. It doesn't really fucking matter to me. You guys are just fans for companies. You're not just fans for wrestling. That's my issue. Did not expect this breaking news episode to go over an hour, but you know what? I had to say it. It had to be done. There are people that I do respect and like that do still watch WWE, which is fine. I don't hate them for that. But I do question. Not them per se, because they're just fans of the company. I do question the drones and contrarians. And this is an honest question. Why are you still watching? Why are you still watching? Why are you still financially supporting this company? A company that, for all intents and purposes, doesn't care about you as a customer, let alone a viewer. A company that are more willing to mock you than to entertain you. You know what the WWE is to me now? I think I made this comparison before, but I'm going to do it again. You know what the WWE is to me now? I compare it to, for hip-hop lore, Eminem. Eminem, when he first came out, he was great. More than great. One of the best of his time when he was at top. But soon enough, year after year after year, the diminishing returns of greatness start to become lessened. They start getting worse. And people weren't checking for him as one of the greatest anymore. And now today, yeah, Eminem still exists. Yeah, he'll give you some good raps here and there once in a while. But it's not the same anymore. You don't really check for Eminem anymore. You don't really look for an Eminem when it comes to hip-hop. But he's still there. He'll give you something once in a while to throw you a bone. But he isn't the greatest anymore today. And then you start questioning if he ever was great to begin with. That's the WWE now. They're still here. They're still here. But it's over. It's over, Johnny. It's over. So that was a breaking news episode of the Newscast. If there are any other releases that happen within talent and staff within the WWE, or maybe other updates within those talents that have been released, follow me on my Twitter, @HakeemIsWinning. You can see it on the screen here. Right here. Nope, not like that. No. Can I even highlight it? There we go. I wanted to be fancy. @HakeemIsWinning. It's highlighted for you if you want to follow me for any other updates that happen within the talent releases going on currently right now. I don't think this will be over. I think we'll expect some other releases coming soon. They're just trying to space out the timing of those releases, but we'll see. Yeah. But that's the big news. Several talents have been released today from WWE, and as I just read a few moments ago, AEW has gotten 1.2 million viewers for last night's Dynamite, 0.44 in the 18 to 49 demo. That is huge. I don't think they've even hit that since December, I believe. So the Wednesday Night Wars have benefited both companies. So there you have it. So that'll be all for me. I'm sure we'll get more updates as the day and the week goes by, hopefully. But yeah, this is Hakeem signing off, telling you all to stay cool. Stay cool.